Let's get back to the Clippers because they won their 7th game last night by, in fact, beating the Raptors. It was a little bit of a weird stat line for Kawhi Leonard, right? He shot 2 for 11. He only had 12 points. He committed 9 turnovers. But on the other hand, he was only an assist shy of a triple-double. You could tell at the end, by the way, they were trying to get him. That didn't happen. I wouldn't say that anyone has the blueprint for guarding one of the top 2 or 3 players in the league. Right. But have they at least shown the Raptors, because they know him so well, Jackie, how you do defend against Kawhi?
Yeah, in fact, Nick Nurse talked about it the day before. We're gonna, if they're gonna beat us, we're gonna try to make sure it isn't Kawhi. They threw a lot of bodies at him. They, from what I remember them telling me, you want to have Kawhi put the ball on the floor, and they did that a lot in this game. And when he put the ball on the floor, they stripped him. Nick Nurse is just so underrated as a coach, and they did win the championship last year, and he had a lot to do with that. And of course, Kawhi had more to do with it, but. Their schemes are good.
Their schemes are good. They're a great defensive team, but Siakam is a great defender also.
He is incredible.
And he has a chance to watch this guy all year long. I always said that about players when they went to other teams that I practiced with, and I had to guard them, like Antoine Walker, for instance. I was like, I know all his moves.
Right.
Like, I know exactly his tendencies, what he's going to do, so when he came back, I'll lock him up. I knew everything he would do, and that's the same thing the Raptors seen it every single day.
Especially because he was shooting threes in a ring.
I mean, to your point about Nick Nurse, he didn't get the job because they were sort of, floundering around for a coach. He got the job because Masai Ujiri had so much confidence in him.
Right.
He moved a very good Coach of the Year award winner out of that job because he thought Nick Nurse so badly needed a shot. And he obviously proved himself winning that championship. And then with this team, which is an entirely different kind of challenge.
It is.
Especially they were thin to begin with, and now with, of course, Serge and Kyle Lowry out for
those are 2 big guys to lose.
Yes.
Right, so we'll see how they go there. You talked about Kawhi, though. Here's what you do against Kawhi Leonard. That is going to be a lot harder when Paul George comes back. Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Paul George expected to make his season debut this week, either Wednesday or Thursday. They've got a back-to-back with Paul George leaning toward the latter game on Thursday. But Kawhi has not been playing back-to-backs, and it doesn't look like he's going to. So do you think that PG should debut with Kawhi so that they're together, or pick the day that Kawhi is not on the floor?
Well, I think it doesn't matter either way, but if you pick the day when he's not on the floor, it allows Paul to be the number 1 option. Therefore, you can try to highlight him, start trying to get him in more of a rhythm because he's been out so long. And then when you bring Kawhi back, so I'll mix it up throughout the first 15, 20 games until Paul George gets a rhythm. Once I see he's starting getting his legs under him, he's getting a rhythm, then I'll start playing them together more. Because what's important is having them both down the stretch. If you can have them both down the stretch for, like you say, your last 20, 25 games playing together, they'll be fine.
Yeah, but the flip side of that would be that if you come back and Kawhi's on the floor with you, he knows how to make things easier for you. Because he's been out, he was out all last year too. He understands what it takes and where you need the ball and how you can get movement going for him. I would say this. If I'm Paul George, I don't really care what Kawhi Leonard's doing. I'm not even kidding. I mean, this is to a point, right? If Kawhi Leonard has a persistent injury issue, then we just need to know that. Because if he's healthy,
the league sort of told everybody that last week. Right after the controversy back and forth with Doc, the league's press release said a patella tendon issue.
Right. So if that's the case, let's just call it what it is and don't put Doc Rivers and everybody else in the position or the league in the position they've been put in. So if I'm Paul George, I'm just going to worry about playing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to worry about who's playing and who isn't playing. I got to worry about me coming back and taking care of my team and helping my team.
I agree, although they target games for certain guys to come back. If the Phoenix Suns for a long time. Everybody was coming back against the Phoenix Suns. Now, to the Suns' credit, to Monty Williams' credit, nobody wants to come back against the Phoenix Suns.
They're playing really great.
We'll see, but it is a back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday. Only one of those games is a national television game, so I would assume, I don't know anything, Kawhi has played the second night of the back-to-back most recently, but I would assume perhaps this week that the Clippers would be encouraged, if he's only going to play one of those games, to pick the national TV game. If you're placing bets on when he's going to play, we'll have to see.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.